afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining this session on the emerging role of vanadium in energy transition and long-duration energy storage. Today we are meeting with CEO of Australian Vanadium, Graham Arvidson. Vanadium is a metal that we are starting to hear a lot about. Vanadium has an enormous potential to supercharge the renewable energy industry through the manufacturing of vanadium flow batteries. Global production of vanadium, which is also used to strengthen steel, is expected to increase by as much as 50% by 2030. Adding just 1 kilogram of vanadium to 1 tonne of steel can double the strength. It's been used in massive construction projects like the Bird's Nest Stadium in Beijing, Wembley Stadium in London, the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur and the Freedom Tower in New York City. If you own hand or power tools, it's likely they are stamped to say they contain vanadium. Vanadium is also essential in some of the most important things to keep our modern world going, including being a key ingredient to make sulfuric acid and to strengthen specialty alloys in aerospace industries. That's why it's been classified as a critical metal across many nations. So watch this space for how vanadium's profile will grow in the energy transition space. Today we're interested in how Australian Vanadium is mining and manufacturing vanadium for use in vanadium flow batteries. It's taken a while for investors to realise the potential of vanadium in the battery metals race, but interest is really starting to pick up. The industry publication Stockhead, for example, calls it a battery metals firecracker. While EV production is a hot topic, stationary energy storage applications and redox flow batteries where vanadium is needed has industry experts particularly excited. Some analysts believe that if vanadium flux flow batteries captured as 10% of the stationary battery market, by 2030 global production of vanadium will need to increase by up to 50%. Now, vanadium flow batteries have a great number of benefits. They can store energy for long periods of time. They can be reused many times over. They have a long lifespan lasting at least 20 years with little or no reduction in performance, and they are non-flammable. Interestingly, they can be attached to an existing energy grid or used to store energy off-grid when needed and are perfect for storing solar and wind energy. A purpose that definitely puts this product in place to becoming a leading energy storage technology. It sounds like a really interesting product, and today Graham will be sharing some insights into the emerging role of vanadium in energy transition and long-duration energy storage. Graham has 18 years' experience in the minerals sector, spanning feasibility, evaluation, successful development and operation of mineral assets globally and across a broad range of commodities, including vanadium, lithium, nickel and other future-focused battery metals. In his role at Australian Vanadium, he's supported by an extremely talented and competent team with extensive background in the battery metal space. His technical director, Daniel Harris, who is also on the board, has over 40 years industry experience with roles at other leading vanadium producers. Todd Richardson, Australian Vanadium's operating officer, also brings with him extensive operations management and technical experience across the vanadium sector. Sounds like a great team. So Graham, tell me about Australian Vanadium and what you and the team are doing that makes your company unique.
Thanks, Caroline. Just to thank IMARC for having us here, and thanks for everyone in the audience for joining us to listen in. And I'd just first like to highlight that vanadium isn't a word that most people are overly familiar with, but neither was lithium maybe 8 or 9 years ago even. So we're very privileged to be in this certain spot where vanadium flow batteries have a new application coming and they have this mature technology. So what's Australian Vanadium doing is we're trying to be a vertically integrated solution to the grid storage problem that's confronting energy providers globally, where to move to renewable energy, we actually need long duration storage. So storage solutions above 4 hours is where these batteries come into play. And Australian Vanadium has a tier 1 asset in the Midwest of Western Australia, and we're very fortunate to be at the advanced stages of developing that asset. And not only that, we're very fortunate to be building currently and will commission by the end of year an electrolyte facility, which is the final product that goes into these flow batteries.
Yeah, great. So what makes vanadium such a promising product in context of environmental, social and governance frameworks?
Well, I would first come back to vanadium is already punching well above its weight in terms of carbon reduction. So you mentioned that if you put 1 kilogram of vanadium in a ton of steel, you double your yield strength. Steelmaking is one of the most carbon-intensive industries around. It's a big part of nations industrializing and the quality of our lives. And just putting small amounts of vanadium into steel, and there are big opportunities on this planet to do more of that, can have an outsized and immediate impact on carbon reduction. So from an ESG framework, those of us that work at AVL, we're very proud that no matter where our metal goes, whether it's a battery or the steel industry or otherwise, we really are part of the ESG important frameworks that society is moving to. And I guess the promise for our business is really then to also be involved in the flow battery industry. And the next horizon for us is not just flow batteries, but vanadium is one of the most promising metals that can go into lithium-ion batteries on either the cathode or the anode, and also, importantly, lithium metal batteries, which are the next step that might be commercialized in the next decade. So there's a bit of dreaming there, but the flow battery opportunity is here and now. It's a mature technology, and leveraging our vertical integration pit to battery strategy into flow batteries right now offers, on the environmental side, a very direct path for our business to be part of the decarbonization pathway to 2050. And then on the social side, we offer here in Australia an opportunity to vertically integrate an entire battery industry.
Yeah, great. So you've touched on vanadium flow batteries. Can you tell me more about these? As I'll be honest, I haven't heard much about this product before.
Yeah, so I was a bit interested in the word firecracker for Stockhead's quote. Actually, an interesting facet of these batteries is they're non-flammable. So for large grid applications, there's some serious technical benefits. And so why flow batteries and why now? Flow batteries were actually invented in Australia almost 30 years ago, and they've been commercialized for decades. And so what's changed? What is happening here is actually what we're calling long duration. So you have a mature technology that, because of the long duration aspects, the economics and the technical benefits of these batteries as opposed to other potential competitors are coming to the fore. And why is that? They're a very simple machine and they're relatively energy dense. So you're able to put, very simplistically, electrolyte in 2 tanks at different oxidation states, and you have 2 pumps and you can exchange ions across a membrane. And that's really the thrust of these batteries. They're very simple and yet very effective for long duration. And what they also bring is very long lifespan, and in the context of ESG and circular economy, highly recyclable. So current manufacturers will actually warranty these batteries for 20 years with less than 1% degradation. And where we're going with grid storage, that's absolutely vital. But even if it does have an end of life at the end of 20 years, we have a technology here that could conceivably and cost effectively be recycled. You could take that vanadium and put it back into the steel industry. You could clean it up and put it in another battery. So these on almost every angle are a really good fit for the energy transition that we're embarking on here.
Yeah, wow, that's really amazing. Thanks for sharing that. With building an electrolyte system to manufacture these vanadium flow batteries, how important has it been to get the process right in extracting vanadium from the ore?
So electrolyte that goes into flow batteries is very important. What we pride ourselves on is having an asset that, A, the geology is suited to producing high purity vanadium, and B, how we process it. So what we're doing is partnering with known proven technology. So we have a technology agreement with US Vanadium, a company in the United States who currently produces some of the highest purity electrolyte in the world and is moving electrolyte into these batteries as we speak. So we're actually building and will commission in November an electrolyte facility in Perth, Western Australia, and we'll produce electrolyte for the battery industry here. Why is that important? Is we need to be early movers and qualify with battery manufacturers. There's some lead time in terms of proving that you can consistently produce on-spec vanadium electrolyte, and we're embarking on that journey now so that we can be ready to move with the demand when it comes.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. And can you talk to us about the role of test work and choosing the right partners and suppliers in plant design?
Vital. Yeah, look, I'm very fortunate because I've been involved in a number of the battery metals industries, and for better or worse, I've also been at the pointy end of developing, ramping up, and then getting to steady state production in these assets. And most recently, I've had the great privilege of working in a number of lithium mines in that really difficult ramp up phase where recoveries are low, cash flow is low, and your costs are high. And there's what one of my directors calls it that existential point where you move into assets to build and then get into production, and you have to get it right. And underpinning all of that, in my experience, when things are not going well, you can trace it back to the amount of rigor that went into the test work that you've done, the amount of rigor into determining who your partners are, and choosing your partnerships based on the right outcomes, not just cost. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And what are the next goals of Australian Vanadium?
Look, we would propose to be the most advanced vanadium asset in the world, and there are a number of secondary producers that might come into production, but we have the benefit of being a primary producer. So what we bring is large-scale, long life, low operating cost vanadium units, and we're embarking on the path of financing and building the main stage, which is a vertically integrated mine where we will run an open pit operation, mine vanadium, concentrate it, haul it to the coast near Geraldton, where we'll produce some of the highest purity vanadium in the world. And we intend to be something like 4% of the world's production, a not insignificant amount, but also small enough that we're not going to over flood the market quickly. But ultimately, what are we doing next? We want to participate in every possible way in what is a really exciting demand curve, which is vanadium flow batteries, and the opportunities that we can participate in there, both on the ESG mission and purpose that our business has, but also the profitability of that business.
Yeah, well, that sounds awesome. Thank you so much for explaining what sounds like a really exciting product and an exciting future for Australian Vanadium. Thanks, Graham.
Thanks, Caroline.